My name is Adam, I'm 34, and for 8 years I thought I understood the woman I married. I believed that loyalty and steady work, that showing up and doing what needed to be done, was enough to build a life with someone. I held that belief right up until the moment my wife, Marianne, sped away from a gas station outside Billings, Montana, leaving me standing in the cold with nothing but my wallet and a rising sense of humiliation. It was supposed to be a simple weekend trip, a cousin's wedding. 4 of us sharing a car, splitting expenses, enjoying the open road. Marianne had insisted we take her sedan instead of using my truck back in Denver. At the time it seemed practical, and I didn't argue. But even before we crossed into Montana, something felt wrong. Marianne kept exchanging glances with her sisters, Lydia and Brooke, murmuring to each other as if they were guarding some secret joke. Whenever I asked what was going on, Marianne would flash a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Just sister talk," she'd say. I should have known better. When we stopped for gas an hour away from Billings, I ducked inside for coffee. The October air had been sharp enough to slice through my jacket, and I smelled snow in the wind. When I came back out, the engine of the sedan was already running. All 3 women looked at me through the windshield. Lydia wore a grin like she was about to witness a punchline. Brooke leaned over the seat with an amused smirk. Marianne rolled down the window slowly, savoring the moment. "Get in the car, Marianne," I said automatically, reaching for the passenger door. Instead, she tilted her head. "Actually, Adam, we've been talking, and we think it's time you learned some independence." It hit me like a slap. "What are you talking about?" "You're clingy," Lydia chimed in. "Always following Marianne around like you can't make decisions on your own." "This'll be good for you," Brooke added. "A little adventure." I stood there confused, one hand holding what I thought were the car keys, only they weren't. They were the keys to our house. My truck was hundreds of miles behind me. I'd come here trusting the 3 people who were now mocking me openly. "This isn't funny," I said. "Whatever this is, stop." Marianne smiled wider. "It is funny. You're just too serious to see it." Then she stepped on the gas and shouted, "Figure it out yourself." Before the car shot forward, I watched the taillights disappear down the empty stretch of highway until nothing remained but silence and the sting of betrayal settling into my chest. I tried calling her voicemail. I tried calling her sisters, nothing. Brooke had blocked me months ago after some stupid disagreement, so I didn't even bother trying her. The truth hit me gradually. This wasn't a prank. This was deliberate, planned. The clerk inside the station told me the nearest bus to Denver left from Billings, 40 miles east. I called a taxi, spent money I didn't have, and rode in silence, staring out at the darkening sky. On the 14-hour bus ride home, wedged between the window and a stranger's shoulder, I replayed the last 8 years of my marriage. How Marianne had started treating her sisters like a personal counsel whose approval meant more than anything I said. How small remarks from them, criticisms disguised as jokes, had slowly become normal. How Marianne constantly texted them, changed plans for them, and forgot our own milestones because they always demanded something from her. I kept waiting for an apology text, some sign of regret, but my phone stayed quiet the entire way back. When I finally reached Denver and returned to our house, Marianne wasn't there. Nothing was disturbed, nothing looked unusual, but something in me had changed. I went through her things not out of suspicion, but because I needed answers. On her laptop I found the group chats, months of messages between Marianne, Brooke, and Lydia, screenshots of conversations with me, captions mocking my sleeping face, jokes about how predictable and pathetic I could be, and the worst part, the detailed planning of how they'd abandon me during the trip. They even joked about what I'd do afterward. I closed the laptop, packed a bag, and walked out. No note, no goodbye. I drove straight to my brother Nathan's apartment in Colorado Springs. He opened the door, took one look at me, and simply handed me a beer. That was the first solid ground I'd felt beneath my feet in a long time. I transferred to a construction project in the Springs, working long days and saving what I could. For a week my phone buzzed constantly, Marianne calling from unknown numbers, leaving messages where she pretended to be confused or hurt, insisting I'd overreacted to a harmless prank. I blocked every number. Lydia and Brooke tried too, demanding I fix things because Marianne was upset. I ignored them. Then one evening Marianne showed up in person outside Nathan's building. She approached me with that same half-sweet, half-practiced expression and tried to reach for my arm. "Adam, please, let's talk like adults." "Talk about what?" I asked. "How you drove off and left me in another state. How you planned it for months." Her face twitched, annoyance breaking through the mask. "You're blowing it out of proportion. You needed to learn independence. You always rely on me. That was the moment I realized I didn't know her at all. I walked away. She followed, pleading, then scolding, then threatening to involve my family. I didn't respond. I changed my number soon after. A few weeks later, my mother called. Marianne had visited her, claiming I was having a breakdown. My mother sounded terrified for me. Meanwhile, Marianne was going around telling coworkers, mutual friends, anyone who'd listened that I'd abandoned her for no reason. She twisted the story until she appeared as the victim. I couldn't let that stand. I hired a divorce attorney named Patricia. Calm, sharp, relentless. She gathered evidence, the messages, the harassment, the social media posts showing Marianne and her sisters parting the night they left me. She found even more chats than I had: mockery, cruelty, gleeful planning. When the divorce hearing finally came, Marianne and her lawyer painted me as unstable, childish, vindictive. But Patricia dismantled their claims piece by piece. She showed the judge everything: the screenshots, the timeline, the photos of them celebrating my absence. The whole courtroom changed as the truth settled in. The judge granted the divorce, equal division of assets, no support for either side. Stephanie Marianne looked pale, stunned. She tried to approach me afterward, but Patricia stepped between us. I walked out of that courthouse into the cold March air and felt finally free. 3 years passed. I built my own contracting business from the ground up. Nathan joined me first, then a friend from Denver. I rented a house with a yard and a garage full of tools. I learned to make decisions without running them through someone else's filter. I remembered who I was before I spent years trying to live small to keep someone else comfortable. One day I ran into a friend who told me Marianne had remarried quickly, then divorced again. Lydia lost her job after her involvement in the harassment made her employer nervous. Brooke burned bridges with mutual friends after too many lies were exposed. Whatever power they had once wielded was gone. I didn't feel triumphant hearing it. Just distant. Like those events belonged to another lifetime. The man I am now is not the man they abandoned at that gas station. I'm steadier, quieter, but I know myself. And I finally understand that the life I'm building is fully mine, not something someone else gets to twist or belittle for entertainment. Some lessons are painful. Some cost years. But they shape you into someone who won't be fooled the same way twice. And maybe that's worth something.